This podcast is sponsored by Field Agent Canada.
Phil, I think you know, and most people who know me know, that I'm not a huge fan of demos. I do love the sampling. I want people to try my product, but I'm not convinced that the demos available today for vendors are very effective. I think they chew up a lot of time. There's a lot of product waste, and I'm never convinced that they're actually targeting the right people.
Okay, Smarty Pants, what do you do that's different?
Buy and try from Field Agent. 300,000 consumers in their shopping panel that goes across the country. These people go to the store, buy your product, have to complete a survey on what they loved, what they didn't love about your product. Get that feedback to you as quickly as possible so that you can start making the right decisions.
I like that. I think it's also really great for products that are really difficult to sample.
Absolutely. Shampoo, laundry detergent, toothpaste, deodorant, endless. And you think about it, Phil, these people get to take the product home into their own homes, into their natural environments, and give this stuff a try. It's affordable, it's fast, it's across the country, all cities. It is awesome.
This podcast is sponsored by Field Agent Canada. You guys know us. We don't endorse anyone or any product or any service we don't believe in. We've been customers of Field Agent before. They're amazing. If you need to drive trial, you need Field Agent Canada. Head to www.fieldagentcanada.com to check it out.
Hey, welcome to This Commerce Life, an unscripted podcast that focuses on the stories behind small and independent Canadian retail and Canadian CPG.
What we try and do is deliver or pull out the story of our guests and give them to you. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly of retail and CPG in Canada. We're filling a need because we think that retail is hard on the best of days, but it's also a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up and make your living.
We also think that the industry, nor the people that inadvertently find themselves in the industry, really understand the industry at all. They don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes.
So listen to us, Phil and Kenny. We'll unravel it for you. We'll give you the story. We'll give you the story behind the story.
Good, how are you?
I am doing okay, thank you.
Already, you're in Eastman, right? Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I wish I was somewhere else. I was in San Francisco last week and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
We were down south of San Francisco in Carmel and like the Big Sur where they do all the surfing stuff, and it was just so nice. And now I'm home. We've got probably 3 feet of snow around us. Kind of like 2 to 3 feet of snow. It's 0 today, but we're supposed to get, I think, 10 to 15 centimeters tomorrow, and then it's going to drop like a rock. So I think we're going down to minus 12.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's the shit. That's too cold.
Yeah, it's
that's too cold.
It'll be great. It'll be great. It'll be great. Yeah. Yeah, minus 7 feels like minus 11. Then it goes to minus 8 feels like minus 17. Oh, and then Sunday is minus 17 feels like minus 20.
Cool. Okay, awesome. We'll be thinking of you in Vancouver. It's 11 degrees, I believe. So
yeah, it's actually quite nice.
It's upsetting.
Yeah. Right?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Well, you can be bright too. You just got lots of white, so you're reflective. It's different.
I actually don't mind the snow. I like the snow. Like, I am a snow kid. I grew up in it. I love it. I love, we love playing in the snow. My daughter came home from uni and went tobogganing last weekend. So, nice. It's like, it's the thing to do. The cold it's too cold. It's too cold.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I'm excited to do this. We've been, we've kind of been trying to get this one done for a little bit, so
yeah,
excited to do this.
First time didn't work, but here we are.
Yeah, well, the first 2 times didn't work, right? The first time we did it at the commissary kitchen, and the sound just wasn't good enough. And then I think we tried booking, and then I found you, lost you, you found me, and then lost me, and then So
yeah. But here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Excited.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have, if you're listening, we have Nadia Toledo on, and we have had we met Nadia last year or almost a year and a half to 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
we were doing a shoot at or we were shooting at Commissary Kitchen, Coho Commissary Kitchen, and Nadia's company works out of there. Um, and we did do an interview, but it didn't go well. The sound just wasn't good enough. So, um, so we kind of like hit and miss for a while, and then we actually ran into Nadia at one of the preparation courses that we were doing with the ministry like a month ago.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Feels like a million
yeah,
years ago.
yeah. It does. It
Oh,
feels like a long
Jesus.
time ago. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
to me, like for me, it was just like a blink. Like I booked it. We booked this meeting about since last month, and then I was checking my calendar, and yeah, here we are.
And here you are,
Time
right?
flew by. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
jeez.
So do you mind introducing yourself and then let's get into it because you make some pretty wicked stuff.
yeah,
And so kind of want people to know what you do.
yeah. So I'm Nadia, founder of Antojos y Sabores. It's business where we make traditional Mexican tamales. We operate out of a commissary kitchen, and we've been in business for about 4 years. So
Nice.
we make tamales. We created some plant-based options as well. Traditionally, tamales in Mexico will be made with the tamales that I make are from the central part of Mexico, Mexico City area, and they are made with corn husks. So it's corn dough held in a corn husk, and we stuff it with shredded pork or chicken salsas. We hand wrapped each one of them and steam them. And then when we started, we were making three flavors that are staple, which are pork and red sauce, chicken and green sauce, and a jalapeno with cheese for veggie option. And then we started seeing people here in Vancouver with plant-based diets. So we decided to create a couple plant-based options. So we offer poblano pepper with mushrooms, corn, and green sauce, and a mushroom tinga tamales.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're able to cater to all diets
And
here.
they're
There's
good. They're really
free.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, you got to try. I think
I
chicken or and pork.
did.
Yeah,
Oh my God, it
Yeah,
was so long ago. I
yeah.
can't
It
remember
was
something
it
like
was
that.
so good. It was
We might have even got one of each. Who the hell knows?
I think we got shit. I don't remember now.
I don't remember.
yeah,
And
But
these
I
are pretty authentic
remember, yeah.
recipes, right? These are recipes from back home.
that's right. Yeah, so we've been in the business for 4 years. So at the beginning, it was during the pandemic. And then it was all my family, my sister, my mom, and I. And then my sister stepped out a little bit because she became a mom. So it's been my mom and I in the kitchen since the beginning. And yes, it's all the recipes um, that my mom's got because she loves the kitchen, and she's the best at it. And then back in Mexico, my grandma, my mom's mom, um, in Mexico is very used to that grannies they would sell food for like from their house. So one of the dishes my grandma, or two of the main dishes my grandma Maria, she used to make from back home, it was tamales and pork pozole soup. So even I remember like going to her house on the weekends and see my aunties and my grandma making the tamales, and I would be just playing around with my cousins and here and there. But I remember that when I would see them all gather together, make the tamales, helping my grandma for business. So yeah, at the beginning we got all the recipes or tips from my grandma back in Mexico, and we've developed the plant-based options here.
For here.
Yeah,
You adapted to the natives.
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah, I
Well,
mean, I
you
want to
cater
be
to the
able
market,
to.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I want people like to be able to taste them, to try them, and
Right.
even if I mean, if they have a different diet, because traditionally all the tamales, either like sweet or savory, would have pork lard on them. That's the way they're made. Um, but yeah, we have to twist some recipes to cater to all of them.
That's okay.
Makes
So
sense.
if you don't mind, for anybody, just in case someone does, like, what is a tamale? Like
Yeah, so
exactly what is it?
it's an ancient dish. So it's been around for like from Mesoamerica, like very very long time. So it's corn dough that goes through a process of nixtamalization, which is so it's like an alkaline solution where you cook the corn so that all the skin comes up, then comes off, and then it's grind. You get that masa, and then in this case you would add pork lard, have some water or some broth if you want to make it that way, and then you spread the masa in a corn husk. You fill it with whatever filling you want. It can be beans, it can be cheese, or any meat in salsa. You will wrap them and steam them for about an hour. And then the way you eat it is just traditionally we eat it in the morning or in the evening with a hot beverage. Can be hot chocolate or milk or coffee, or traditionally you eat it with atole. Atole is another corn-based drink. It's a dense texture and can be made with prunes or chocolate or rice, and that's how you get like a perfect breakfast or light dinner. So in Mexico, you will see them like people selling them through in a, I don't know, in a trolley or in a food stand, and that's what people just get on the run. Oh, but something I that I forgot to mention is that the corn husk, you don't eat it, you peel it just like a banana. You just peel it
Oh,
off.
so it gets tossed out.
Yeah, no, you don't eat the corn husk.
Okay.
Um, from people here, I heard they like to top it with more salsa or add some sour cream. Maybe make a platter, add a side dish to make a whole meal, which is yeah, it's also good.
That's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
There's about 500 variations of tamales in Mexico. So it depends from the north, the south, the shapes. They can be wrapped in plantain leaves or corn husks or yeah, mainly those things. So
And
yeah,
always boiled. Like
always
that's the,
steam. Yeah, yeah,
or steamed, sorry.
yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
interesting. Okay. Cool.
They
yeah.
they remind me of like because Chinese have like this steamed
Thick
sticky rice.
rice.
Sticky
Yeah,
rice?
like a
Yes,
sticky
yeah,
rice, and like when you go to dim sum, you get them right, and
Yeah.
then you kind of
yeah.
unpeel it. But,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, all Latin America, South America, they have their own versions of tamales. It's corn dough. Even Brazil, they have um, their version of it. Of course, it changes. I think that mainly in Mexico, you will find them with salsa, hot sauce. In the South, they're mainly made of corn, sweet corn, or like in Brazil or Colombia. But yeah,
No, interesting.
they all have their own version of it.
It's
And you're
funny
saying
though, when you talk about it, it sounds like sticky rice, but then it feels like a Chinese dumpling. Like you know how every
like a
culture has
cross
a
between,
comfort
yeah,
food that gets
Yeah.
yeah.
passed down from generation to generation, and it even though it sounds like sticky rice, it feels like a dumpling, right? Like
Oh, I see.
you know, yeah.
And sweet
Yeah.
and or savory.
That's right. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think sweet ones are not very popular.
I've never heard of them. Loaded with
Yeah,
pork, and pork fat is like all good
yeah,
all day.
Yeah, you
yeah,
kind of like you can't
Can't
really
lose.
go wrong with
No,
that.
you can't go
yeah.
wrong.
I think the sweet ones are mainly. I remember my grandma used to like a lot of the sweet ones. We made or the kids they like them as well.
Right.
We've done like pineapple, strawberry, or one with prunes, guava. So yeah,
Nice.
we try them, we rotate them, but I think it's savory what people really look
Right.
for.
Interesting.
And so like what did you like? So why tamales? Like why? How did you get
I
here?
know that's one of the things that I tell my how. So when I moved here, that was maybe like 11 years ago in Vancouver. I came, I studied, I was here by myself mainly, and I would always crave these. I mean, tamales. They give you the feeling of eating like something that your grandma would make for you, because they're labor intense. It's warm, it's cozy, you have it like when it's cold outside. So coming here to Vancouver, it was like I really miss something like that, and I couldn't find them. And eventually, like, I don't know, I never tried to make them myself because I know I didn't have the proper
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
ingredients at that time. You couldn't
Yeah,
find them here.
yeah.
And now you can go to the store and you can find all the ingredients
Right.
to make it. And yeah, I always thought about that. And then when I got laid off because of COVID, we're like, okay, so what do we want to do? Because my parents were like, hey, Nadia, you cannot be just sitting around. You have to do something, right? So my parents were like, you like cooking? Why don't you try doing something in that area? So we tried. We started in a commissary kitchen at a different location, and then we tried to sell like all kinds of Mexican food: enchiladas, mole, pozole, tacos, everything. And during the week, and then tamales only for the weekend because of the time they would take
Right.
to make them. And then eventually people like kept coming back to the kitchen just asking for tamales in the middle of the week, and we're like, okay, let's just forget about all the other dishes and just stay with tamales. And that's how it came up. And then people started asking to find them or at stores, frozen. So that's when we started to develop the retail area of the business.
So that'll happen pretty fast, though, right? Because
Yeah.
but it's not like this took a long time to get going.
No, it was very fast. Like I cannot even remember the first year. It was always on the run, trying to
Mhm.
learn everything. Like, I don't know, in Mexico, it's easy just to get a business started here, there. Hey, you get all the ingredients. Here, it was okay. Who can get corn
Right.
husks? Because we get
Right.
them from Mexico, right? Okay, now I get my supplier for this, and then chili peppers. Okay, now it's easier to get them. You go to the grocery store, you can find them there. Tomatillos, but yeah, I mean, you have to make the connections, and even the customers were like, hey, I go to this store and maybe I find it there. So yeah, and then investing in the business, because again, I didn't have much savings for it, right? It was
Right.
also all coming from my parents helping me. Hey, we're gonna help you, but then you have to know where you want to go with your business and just give it a try, because I mean, yeah, it's not easy to start.
No.
And yeah, so we got a good feedback from the customers. They kept coming back even from day one. We still have some customers coming, getting their tamales regularly. So yeah, we're happy with that. And right now we are at some retail stores across the city, the lower mainland, and online as well. And yeah, looking to expand deep in all across BC.
So when you started selling Nadia, where was most of your sales at the beginning? Were you
Mhm.
doing more like farmers markets, or was it just all friends and family, like
Um,
people that miss home? Like because your recipes, like you said, are authentic. So like,
yeah.
was it people think, oh my God, this is like what it should taste like.
Yeah, yeah. We even had like customers saying like, "Hey, we used to go just to cross the border to Seattle just to get some tamales, but now you're here." So we were in a very good location. The first 2 years of the business, closer to Granville Island, so there was a lot of foot traffic, people that we
Right.
didn't know. Of course, we started with our friends, family. We don't really have like a big extended family
Right.
here. So yeah, it was all the community around the Fairview, Kitsilano area,
Right.
and after that, farmers markets we only got in last year. We applied season after season. We couldn't get a spot in, and so we're like, okay, we're not going to wait for a farmer's market. Let's just go straight into retail. So we were going to those ethnic stores, mainly Latino stores or delis, placing our tamales. And yeah, it was a good way to test the retail area, because traditionally in Mexico, you just get them straight from the seller on the street, right? You don't
Right.
find them frozen in the stores. So it was okay. Let's see if this is gonna work. But I mean, it's a very large. It's very known here that people eat like frozen foods,
Yeah.
and we're like, okay, this is what people want. Let's just make it easy for them. So our tamales are fully cooked and frozen. They can vacuum seal, so people can just steam them for 15 minutes and enjoy them. Um, and then, yeah, so last year when we joined the Vancouver Farmers Markets, then we started selling them hot and frozen. So it's also a way for people that don't know, because even every week we get to talk to people that don't know what tamales are. So yeah, it's a niche product. It hasn't been easy for sure, but yeah, we're there spreading the word and bringing them like authentic Mexican flavors.
I like how you made it easy for the customers and brutal for yourself because you're frozen. Like you added such a complication
It's true.
to your world, right?
It
Which is
is,
it's okay
yeah,
because it's convenience for the customers obviously pretty critical. You figured that out, but
yeah.
it's interesting to do frozen, isn't it?
It is. And it was something that, again, like when we started this journey, it was something that I had no idea of
Right.
how expensive it is to move it, to keep it in my freezer, the cost of it, and the logistics, because you cannot just ship it with any any carrier, right? You have to get it like a cold truck.
Right.
And so yeah, again, it's something that we're learning. And I mean, I'm just happy to be able to connect with other founders, other entrepreneurs, and ask them, hey, I'm doing this. Have you done it before? Do you have a contact that has worked for you? Or who's your distributor? Or, all these questions that I cannot ask anybody else, right? Because my parents, they've done business, but back in Mexico is completely
Right.
different to what it is here.
Right.
And yeah, so that's also one of the reasons why I also joined the BC Food and Beverage
Yeah.
yeah
We love food
association.
trucks.
So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, they really are. They're really great. Wow.
So since I just for a quick question, because I'm curious now too. So when you join something like BC Food and Bev or things like that, like what you not because not because we're trying to push people to BC Food and Bev, but like
Yeah,
Phil and I talk a lot about joining any of these organizations, like whether it's BC Food and Bev or Canadian Health Food Association, is because I mean I think there's extreme value in them, but I don't think sometimes it's just him and I should be telling like
yeah,
what motivated it and what do you get out of it? Like what's it worth to you?
yeah. So like I mentioned, it was something new
Right.
for me to be in this industry. Even though I learned some stuff of this at school, it's not the same thing from hearing from the people that are actually there. So I don't remember how I got to, because for my first 2 years I was just, okay, let's do this, work this, and whatever. But then I started to feel a little bit stuck.
Mhm.
And again, I didn't know the answers to all the
Right.
questions. I could only Google so much. So I was like, there should be something that I could get all the answers from. And I don't know, I think I joined a free event and I met with what's her name? I think it's Candace from Food
Right.
and Beverage.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you should join. How do you hear about this event? She told me about the food and beverage, busy food and beverage, and I was like, why not? And then I started seeing all the events and workshops and webinars that they do, and like, yeah, I was like, why I didn't find them sooner. They're great. Yeah. So
No,
yeah, I couldn't
it's
recommend it,
good.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, because again, I mean, we can tell people that they should try to do these things, but it's always good to hear from some, in those shoes.
Yeah.
Because I guess, like, I mean, I don't know if this is how you find it, but I'm assuming you get to talk to other founders. You learn that basically you're not the only one that's not sleeping
Yeah.
or is working 24/7. Like everybody seems to be
Yeah.
sort of doing it, right?
Yeah, it was, yeah, it's good for your mind. It's like, okay, yeah, I wasn't the only one doing it this way. Or like to say, I'm not the only one struggling, or yeah,
Right.
and now I'm able to recommend whatever I can do to people, like, hey, I didn't know this, but this is what I learned from this, or
Awesome.
make connections.
Right.
Yeah, so it's great.
Wow. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, so I feel like on every step of the way of at having a business, you're like learning something new. Like, you just, okay, this is a new challenge. You just went uphill, and now, okay, but there's the other one that you have to climb and learn. And yeah, I mean, it's always like you're always going and going. So it's good.
Um, no, this is awesome. And then like, how are you finding? Are you are you finding like folks are starting to understand the cuisine a little bit better? Like, do you still have to kind of like explain tamales everywhere you go, or do
I
people
think
kind of
so.
understand it
Yeah,
more?
at every event or even every demo that I do, there's
Yeah,
always someone that don't know what a tamal
yeah,
are. They might know them, um, or heard about them
You've
or
heard of them
seen them, but they
probably.
never dare to
Right.
try them because they don't
Right.
know how to eat them. Or even people like, hey, I had my first tamal and I ate the corn husk. I didn't know that you had to peel it up, right? So
yeah,
I mean, being so close to Seattle, to the US, like, I see that lots of these people in Vancouver, they have an idea, or they know, but maybe other not so much. I don't know. I don't know how to explain. I have a lot of people, a
yeah,
lot of Canadians. They're like, "Hey,
yeah,
I go every year to Puerto Vallarta, and
yeah,
I get the $1 tamales from the
yeah,
lady in the corner." So
yeah,
yeah, so it's like either you know everything and they're like, hey, I've been going to Texas and I always go and get
yeah.
tamales, or you're like,
Right.
what is this? So
What
it's
is
not,
this
yeah,
thing?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. But that's what we hear, and I always tell them, like, I mean, like, all the effort and all the ingredients, we have a clean label, so all we do is providing quality and a good product to our customers.
That's awesome.
I
That's
love it.
awesome. Now, and you said you are like right now, so you are in retail.
Yes.
So what type of retail
Yeah,
or what type of retail are we talking?
So 2 years, about, yeah, almost 2 years ago, a year and a half, I joined Georgia Main, which is IGA for
Nice.
street market.
Nice.
They are our largest supermarket or grocery store that we're doing right now, that our tamales are in. And I mean, we just signed up with a new distributor, a frozen one, because I started and didn't know this. So I started with a distributor that didn't have like like many frozen items. It was mainly
Oh,
dry goods,
okay.
but because I thought, okay, this is a Mexican Latino product distributor, it makes sense for them to carry my
For sure.
tamales. But no, they don't carry. If only others three frozen items, but not tamales. So it was a little bit hard to get them moving. Like, hey, we need to ship them here, or need to ship them over there. So it was very slow. So after attending these events and meeting up people and other business owners, I did some research, and I got to find a distributor, and we're gonna start next month with them, and we'll see where we can go with those new locations.
And do they have reach? Like, are they just Lower Mainland? Or are we talking now maybe in the interior or Vancouver Island?
Yeah,
Or
I for now we're only gonna stay in BC, but we're gonna
right?
be going outside of the Lower Mainland, the Okanagan, all the way
Right.
up to Revelstoke.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's White Rock all the way to the border, because what I have right now is mainly the Lower Mainland,
Right.
and Surrey, Langley. Not even Abbotsford. We're not that far, so we're hoping that with this larger distributor,
Right.
yeah, we get to expand, go like deeper in the BC market. Yeah,
That's exciting. And then, but
yeah,
you're a meat product, so you can't go across the country, right? Or
I
can
cannot.
you? You can
Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet. No,
That
but
might be
we're
changing
working.
pretty quickly, we hope.
We're working on a
No, because I'm in
certification.
Ontario, so you know.
You just have to come out to Vancouver more often.
Right? Yeah, I mean that's the goal, and I've been trying to get a certification and get CFIA certification
Right.
approval to do so. So it's another learning gap that I have to go through and get a consultant. All these
Right.
certified people that can tell me, okay, we need to do this, let's do this, and you'll make it right. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of investment, paperwork, and it just takes time. It's something that we want to do for sure because there's interest from the East Coast, other Latino stores or other customers. Like, hey, can you ship it here? Can we buy it from you?
Mhm.
So it's something that we're working on.
It's
Wow.
okay. Don't rush, though. Don't rush. Not for me. I'll come out four
You'll be
times a
out
year.
here.
I'll
Yeah,
buy it and have it for breakfast at Kenny's house. Is what I'll.
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah. No, but that's really exciting. But yeah, that process is not an easy one, right? So you
No.
like conquer BC first, right? Go deep
yeah.
and then grow, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I would expect this to be easier because they're not going to a different country, but going from even to Alberta, is right next to us, and
Mm.
it's so hard to.
But it might as well be really far away. Like,
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
probably easier to go south,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, it just doesn't make
probably.
any sense. I mean, I think, well, it's definitely one thing we've been talking about a lot in the last 4 or 5 weeks is that they need to look at things like this to make it easier. What's so complicated? The same country. If
Yeah,
the rule in BC, what's the difference in Ontario?
yeah,
I mean, why
yeah,
would the rule be different? There's no sense to it, right?
exactly. And even like because some of the produce, I mean, I buy it here in Vancouver, but when I look at the labels, this is like product from, I don't know, Manitoba, product from Ontario.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the deal? How can I do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
hopefully in the months comes.
Yeah.
You
We'll
never
get.
know. I mean, they definitely talk about it. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's do you find is there because I know the product but I don't know it well, and like is there seasonality to this? Like I'm thinking about like you're because it's like end of February, beginning of March, and you know you're kind of like in with a frozen distributor now so you can start growing, and we're honestly we're not that far away from kind of May when the country unfreezes and we
Yeah.
actually head outdoors again, right? So I feel like is there seasonality to the, like, do you see that? Like, do you see, that people eat these more in the summer, or they're kind of,
Or is
once
it
they
all year?
adopt
Like,
it,
is it all the time?
they
Does it
start
matter?
eating it all year, or
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 years it was tricky to say because we were
yeah,
in a lockdown, so everything
yeah,
was steady.
Mhm.
After that, I did notice, I mean, people like spring break or reading break, Christmas, then I did see some, or summer, even summer. Summer is a quiet season for us. But then the end of the year, beginning of like New Year, I don't know. I mean, in Mexico, we eat tamales, a lot of tamales during that time. I guess that helps for all the Latino people that live in this area. Um, but yeah, at the beginning, I was more selling. I was selling more to direct to consumer. Right now, it's more wholesale.
Right.
So I could get like a big order, just ship it. But I don't know, like how
yeah,
far that's gonna go, if they still have a
yeah,
stock or if they
yeah,
sold out.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that answers to your
Yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah. No. I was just curious because I know, yeah, in Mexico it seems like they eat them all the time, right? Like
Every
literally
day,
all the time. So yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
I think
Yeah,
that's sort of
yeah,
what I'm curious about too, is that I guess if you focus in on the Latin community because they get it, because it's food that's what they grew up with, is I guess it could potentially be an everyday. It might have some seasonality because maybe you don't want to boil hot water in the summer. I don't know. I'm assuming
yeah.
the reason like that, right?
You don't.
Uh,
Yeah,
but I mean, so I do you know like who's actually buying the product? Like you said, once you go into wholesale, it's tough to see the end consumer. But do you think it's a large spread now, or is it predominantly people from Latin America who know what this is, or are you finding everybody wanting to try it, or more people wanting to
yeah.
try it?
It's gonna be. It's funny to say, but I think our largest, like demographic is like Canadians. You know,
Okay, yeah,
um, yeah, because Latinos, then it gets tricky because they only Mexico with spicy, right?
right,
So the rest of South America is gonna be looking for those that are not spicy
right.
or the sweet ones. And I noticed that the more and more people are asking for spicy food, and like I mentioned, lots of people that they travel to Mexico every year for reading break or for Christmas. They know what they are. So I mean, it makes a little bit more sense, right? They're a
Mm.
majority in here. So yeah, it's our Canadian market.
Um,
It just makes it interesting, right? Because you're
yeah,
having them to. It sort of goes back to what it's sort of the education. Like you got to make sure people actually know what they are. Because I think most of us probably heard what a tamale is, but it doesn't mean
Yeah,
you know what it is,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You just
yeah,
know you've heard it. Sure, it's some sort of Mexican food. What is it?
yeah, yeah,
We're not too sure, right?
yeah.
I mean, it's gotten better, obviously, because
good,
we.
Kenny, you should sell some coffee with Nadia's tamales.
Yeah, right.
Because
Perfect.
Americanos
Perfect. Yep.
and tamales is
Yeah.
like, it's number one on my list, and then, but you got to do it Mexican style because Mexican hot chocolate is the best. So if you do
Yes.
Mexican style
Yeah.
hot chocolate with tamales, it's like,
That's a power
yeah, yeah,
Power
energy
combo.
breakfast.
Power
Yeah.
combo.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
That's cool,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's good. I mean, it's what makes Canada so great. A lot, it's because you get to try some different things, and people bring their foods, and it's just I don't know,
Yes.
it's good to see, right? It's
Yeah.
great. You don't have to
Yeah.
travel
I mean,
anymore if you don't want
and
to.
then you also have like Latinos. They're like, I'm not gonna buy tamales from the grocery store. I can make them myself, right?
Sure,
So there's also that that side.
yeah. You'll always have
for
that, though,
sure,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
It's like all of those, right? Like, because it's funny because we were talking to, do you know the Dickie Stumps
Yes.
people? right? And so
Yeah.
Dickie Stumps was saying the same thing, right? Because they are dumplings, and dumplings,
Yeah.
like emotionally, like you know how you smile or people smile when they like tamales is part of their lifestyle, right? And everyone
Yes.
gets that kind of like, oh, can't wait for breakfast, right? I can have, you know, and so
Yeah.
like dumplings are the same for Chinese, but you get everybody and their brother thinks they make the best dumplings, right? And you
Yes.
just know
Yeah.
after a while it's
Right.
not the
Yeah.
best, right? Like, you know, yeah, you have a way of making them, but they are not the best, right? Like,
Well,
Mm.
maybe the
Yeah.
best for you.
yeah.
Right.
It's like Italians and pasta sauce, right?
Well, there's all
Everybody,
of that. Well,
everybody Nona makes the
every
best
culture's
pasta.
got their things, right? That they're the only ones that can do it in their
That's right.
minds,
Yeah.
and it's only them of all the people that could do it. That's the only one. Like it's
Exactly.
amazing how every tamale that someone else makes is the best. How
Yeah.
many best tamales can you possibly have?
Yeah. I mean, it really comes to, I don't know, what they like, and yeah. But we're proud of what we do, and I think we're spreading all these culture, heritage that we have with us, and we're just happy to share it like the authentic way.
That's awesome. It's good. It's important to do. It's what keeps people together and gets people talking. Lots of good
Exactly.
things happen. Lots of good things happen over food and over meals.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. It's all that sharing.
It's all
That's
of it.
really what happened. Yeah,
Yeah, conversation and just happiness.
yeah, yeah.
I
Interesting.
love it. I
What
love
what
it.
does a product retail for not? If in the stores, like what are people paying? Like what are these 3 packs, 4 packs, 6 packs?
So it's a 2-pack
Okay.
tamales, and they're like standard size, lots of filling, lots of flavor, and they go for 13.99 to, I've seen them to 15.75
Okay.
for, yeah, for the 2 tamales, and it could be one portion if you want to have them both just plain as they are with a hot beverage, or you can just have one at a side dish, and then you have 2
Right.
portions. Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah,
Very
I
cool.
mean,
And
it's a
your
little bit
local fresh
for,
food markets and your local IGAs in BC.
yeah, 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 certified
Um,
by BC. So
okay. And
yeah.
then do you mind explaining the name of the company?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's Antojos y Sabores, which translates to cravings and flavors, Mexican cuisine. It's a very long name, and I wish I knew like sooner where this was gonna take us, but that's what was available and made sense for us. But yeah,
I like it. It's
can be a
nice.
little bit long to remember, but
That makes sense knowing you a little bit more.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like that
Yeah.
fits the name
It
fits.
fits. It fits. Yeah. It
Yeah.
suits you.
yeah,
It does.
yeah.
Yeah.
The just the authentic comfort food
Yeah.
that
I
you need.
love it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I love it. I love it.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
This is kind of amazing. I'm excited because you're starting to grow and expand. So it won't be long before you're kind of like everywhere.
Before you know it, Phil Chang.
Yeah.
Before you know it.
Yeah. Well, what
Yeah,
I'm really excited about is before you know it, it'll be out here and I'll be able to have them.
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting, but it's also sometimes I just want to, okay, let's give me some time to process all these, like when orders come, I'm like, okay, yeah, we got these. But again, it's all like handmade. It's all okay. The process of cooking them is not like
It's a lot
you
of
just,
work.
it's a lot of work. Yeah.
And who is
So
it? Just you and your mom still, or is it? Do you have a crew now?
I have one person helping me part-time
Okay,
just
but
for
that's
tamale making. Yes.
that's tough though. Like, and how are you finding Are you getting to the point where are you starting to outgrow? Like, are you going to need
Yeah.
Yeah.
space?
Yeah, I mean that will be the next step because I'm in a shared kitchen and it's very easy, right? Because you get all the equipment and
Right.
the facility, you have all the everything that goes around the
Yeah.
owning a space. but it's also limited, right? I only have limited space in the freezer, in the cooler, my station.
Well,
So if
limited
I,
time to use things like I'm sure
yeah,
people want to cook on other things too, right? Not just you.
exactly. Yeah, it's all booking the equipment, and then sometimes you have to share it, and so.
I'm amazed at how much you get done in that little space.
I'm yeah,
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah, you
usually
visited. Yeah,
astounded.
still
It's
the
kind of
same,
cool how much you
same
get
10
done.
by 10. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
It's
then
crazy, right?
yeah, and then like you say, like we're growing, so there's equipment that we need to get to make it more like production, more efficient and faster. So yeah, I mean, the next step will be to find a space for us, and to have where we can have two more people helping us.
Right.
But yeah, that's another. It's something that we have to plan because okay, how much I want to spend to buy it equipment or not, because that's something that we're not you know spending right now. So
And it's costly, right? That to get into
discussing.
those
Yeah.
capital expenditures are not like nothing is inexpensive anymore. So there's, yeah, it requires money.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that it was good to know during our meeting last month, like the pros and cons of owning a
Yeah.
space, right? So all the overhead costs and maintenance, all that, because there you're by yourself, right? If
Yeah.
anything breaks here, it's like, hey, the manager, maintenance comes here, and that's it, right? You don't have to deal with it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's good and not so good.
Pros and
Are,
cons, my dear. Pros and
Yeah.
are
cons.
these
Yeah.
are these ever things that can be like, I don't know if it takes the magic out of them or it takes the flavor. Like, can they be made not by hand? Like, can you
Can
machine
they be
make
mass
them?
produced? Like machined?
Or does that kind of like,
I've looked. I take a look at some
yeah,
machines. I mean, you can make them, but they wouldn't be like you. I mean, it really depends of the consistency of your masa, your
Right.
filling. Because I don't know. I put jalapenos, so they go sliced and chopped. So you cannot squeeze the jalapenos in a machine, right? They have to be placed in the middle,
Right.
and then we put the salsa. I mean, I think there's options, but
hmm.
again, I mean, it's something that we'll have to test and
Yeah.
then, yeah,
Or it's just
see
always
how that
labor
works.
intensive. You just may have to have more bodies. Maybe
Exactly.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
machine
yeah,
does maybe some mixing or blending,
yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
really more that you just need people.
yeah,
And that's okay
yeah,
too. It doesn't at that point, like you said, though, then you
Yeah.
need space because you
yeah.
can't get any more people into the commissary.
No, 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 no. That's, yeah. Three
You
is
know?
already a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a
I
very
bet.
small space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
was just curious, right? Because as you grow, it's going to be you get like you've got Georgia Maine now. You land anyone with say, like a more significant store count, and all of a sudden it's like the
yeah,
orders that come in are they can be large, right? And all of a sudden you're
yeah,
move
Well, it doesn't
faster,
take
yeah,
much either.
yeah.
pack
Human
faster, move more,
power.
faster,
Okay.
faster, faster, right? So
But it
yeah,
doesn't take
Yeah,
much, right? You get a country
no,
grocer or a Nature's Fair or a Choices,
yeah,
Nesters. Those are 9 stores each kind of thing. I mean, it doesn't
yeah,
take much to get 50 more stores, and then you're thinking, oh my God.
yeah,
well, they all
yeah.
show
That
up at
was,
once, right? Like if they all show up and ask for it at the same time, you already
Well,
got
that's
a
just
problem,
it.
right? So
And
yeah.
if
I'm not
they
trying to
don't,
like not help you sleep at night. I'm just
no,
No,
but the
no,
things you have to
trust me,
plan
I
for.
know that. And even when I meet up with a distributor, they're like, okay, are you okay? You're going to be able to handle the volume. I'm like, yep, just give it to me. I'll plan it. And then it finally hits you. It's like, okay, this is how we have to improve our process. This is something that we can do. Like, instead of making, like, I don't know what, one batch of salsa, we can double it up
Right.
and just,
You can do a lot of
um,
stuff. It's like everything, though. It's like we said before, is you still need a home for it all. Like you
yeah,
can make 20 batches of salsa if you want. Where do you put
yeah,
them? You can
exactly.
actually, it's frozen, so you could make a lot more tamales, but
Yeah.
whose freezer?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's the thing.
Kenny has an extra freezer in his basement.
Two
Oh, really?
freezers, two in the garage.
Yeah.
We're gonna stock them up with tamales.
In the garage, he's got stuff squirreled away everywhere.
Oh,
so-
there's stuff everywhere. It's all good. You always find room somehow, somewhere.
Yeah. But we
That's
can't
what makes it
guarantee
more fun.
inventory, right? Like Phil
Yeah.
comes over, your inventory drops a little bit.
Oh, okay.
As long as the revenues go with it, it doesn't matter. But I don't
Yeah.
think with Phil, I think it's going to be just a downhill.
No, I keep a
It'll
little
just be an
jar by the
inventory
side, so
problem.
I can drop money in there as I eat.
Yeah.
It's all good. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's good. I think that's it's something. Yeah, you're doing well. It's
Yeah.
it's a good story.
Good for you.
It's a good story.
Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you. So we're gonna keep going, see where we can
Where it
head
goes.
to
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
As
awesome.
long as people keep asking for them, we'll be here.
Good for you.
Love it.
Seriously,
Love
good for
it.
you. That's pretty exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Oh,
Thanks for
if
doing this.
people want to find you, where do they go to find you? And then where, like, website, socials, what do they do to keep up with you and the product and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So we operate in a shared kitchen, so it's not a dining
Mhm.
kind of like system. So people order ahead through our website, over Instagram or WhatsApp, and they select what tamales they want and when and what time they will pick them up, and just give us a ring and we meet them outside. Other than that, they are again in Georgia main stores, IGA, Fresh Street Market, some Latino stores in the Lower Mainland like Mi Tierra Latina or the Gourmet Warehouse, specialty stores, and farmers markets. We post on our socials at Antojos y Sabores at Antojos y Sabores CA, where we're gonna be attending the farmers markets, and yeah.
Okay. And it's spelled ANTOJOSY
That's what I was trying to figure out too.
SABORES.
That's right.
So I'll make sure I put the links in the podcast links
Thank
below.
you.
So you can link them. Yeah, no problem.
It's a long
Well,
name,
we
but
want to make sure everyone finds your tamales.
thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, and I got to follow them now so that I don't lose you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I spelled that so fast. I had to pick up the letters as best I could.
Yeah, you gotta type fast, man. I mean, what are you doing over there? Like, make sure
I
you
got
order.
it. I'm down, baby. I've already found it, and one of the accounts is already following. So
No,
there you
yeah,
go.
I'm really glad you were able to come on.
No,
for
thank
doing
you.
that.
Thank you for inviting me. It was
Yeah.
always
Oh
a
my God,
pleasure
our
to
pleasure.
chat with you.
Yeah.
And I hope to run into you again at
We'll
one of these
see you at
events.
CHFA for
Yeah,
sure.
we'll see you at CHFA. Are you going to CHFA?
I won't be attending, but I might just walk around.
Okay.
Walk.
Will you be there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ping us if you're there. We'll be there
Okay.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be around. We'll be walking and talking. Well, talking usually.
Yeah.
Always.
We're
Amazing.
always talking.
Okay.
Thanks so
Well,
much.
thank you
That's
guys.
awesome.
Take care.
Bye,
Have a
Nadia.
good-
We'll hang on. Nadia, have a
Yeah.
nice afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
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 Awesome. She's
That's
such a
good.
delight.
No, she is. She's a delight. I mean, it's yeah, good for her, man. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool. Sounds like she's doing well too, which is really nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's kind of got a slow and steady touch here,
Yeah.
and then yeah, it's cool. I like it.
She's working it.
Yeah.
Good for her. That's pretty cool. I'm
Okay,
happy
thanks
for
for
her.
listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody.